Bear down, Bears fans. It's been a few days. Guys, I need to take a vacation. I need to take a few days off. I am back now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Chicago Bears victorious over the Carolina Panthers, 36 to 10. Guys, this is the team that we expected, that I told you guys that I would like to see on the field, that I expected to see on the field when this started. So that's a really good thing to see, to have this team performing at a level that we've been waiting for a very, very, very long time. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button. We're going to go over this. This was a big victory for the Chicago Bears. And look, we've been waiting for that breakout game. We've been waiting for that breakout moment. This was that moment that we finally needed to erase some of the questions. All of the questions? No. We still have questions about this team, but some of the questions were answered resoundingly in a day that saw a lot of high level performance from the Chicago Bears, starting at quarterback as Caleb Williams showed up this time without the mistakes that we saw the week before. Went 20 of 29, 68.9% completion, 304 yards passing, a 10.5 yard average, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 126.2 quarterback rating. Guys, this was the breakout game. Look, I know he had 363 yards the game before. I know that we saw him start to accelerate his game, start to make the throws that we've been waiting for. Still a little bit erratic. We're not seeing it, not just yet. Guys, I think that what we saw on this field, despite the fact that it came through really well, there's still some pieces that are going to be prohibitive from this team going anywhere in the playoffs still at this point. Now, Caleb Williams is still missing long throws. He got better, but he's still missing some long throws. We still need to see a little bit more unity between the team. They're not really on the same page. This was just the best effort so far. And then shout out to the defense for allowing this team to surge. One of the things that we've always looked at is the Chicago Bears allowed teams to get back into the game. They took their foot off the gas when it came to the defense. They played a more conservative sort of approach. And by the way, it did look like a little bit more of a conservative approach in the second half of this game. And I did not like that, but I understood why they were trying to just run some clock down, but they were choosing very weird ways to do it. So I don't think Shane Waldron is out of the woods yet. I don't think Matt Eberflus is out of the woods yet. There were still some questions that I had in the second half of this game, but the defense was in lockdown mode. And I'm going to give you a fun stat right now, which is going to annoy some people, but I don't care. It's my show. Caleb Williams now has more 300-yard games as a Chicago Bear than the previous than the previous quarterback in 3 seasons. And not only that, he has the same record as the previous quarterback 5 games into this season as the Pittsburgh Steelers fell to the Dallas Cowboys last night. Look, doesn't mean very much. It means that Matt Eberflus is having to trust his quarterback and he's having to make decisions to allow his team to grow and allow Caleb to play the game. And it looks good so far. Caleb Williams well on his way to a 3,000-yard season. Uh, this is going to be a big moment. Now, another big player for the game, another big game from DJ Moore. 5 receptions, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 21-yard average, and he caught 5 of his 8 targets. He's still not on Cole Kmet's level when it comes to catches versus targets for the season, but this was another outstanding game where DJ Moore stepped up big time. And look, Caleb Williams is finding DJ Moore and he's giving him the ball where only he can reach it. And we're watching this happen, and we're seeing the plays for Roma Dunze. We're seeing the plays for Keenan Allen. DJ Moore is separating himself from those two guys and putting himself on a different plane of existence at this point. Um, so I think it's very important to recognize DJ Moore being an absolute standout. Not only that, but, and look, Lord Crimson, you gave this guy a lot of grief. I hope you give him his flowers right now. DeAndre Swift is, and by the way, there's been a dramatic change in this offense in the last 2 weeks. Again, guys, I took a week off, so I wasn't able to go over it with you last week. But here's the thing: DeAndre Swift had a breakout game last week, followed it up with another outstanding performance: 21 carries, 73 yards. I would like to have seen a little bit more in the 4 yards per 4.4, 4.5 yards per carry average. I do want to see some improvement, but we also got away from some of the things that were working earlier, which was we were attacking the interior of the line. And once the Carolina Panthers made an adjustment to stop that interior rush, we went to the outside, which is exactly what they needed to happen anyway, because that is not our strength. And that led to 21 carries, 73 yards, but 1 touchdown, 3.5 yard average, and 2 receptions for 47 yards total, including 1 big one, and a total of 120 yards of total offense for this team. And by the way, how about that offensive line? The offensive line came through like studs. They started looking really, really good. Nate Davis getting very little, seeing the field very, very little. Matt Pryor really starting to shape up very, very well. Now, there are still problems on this line, but Braxton Jones was out here pancaking people, having one of his better games that we've seen so far as well. Coleman Shelton, we didn't see the problems that we saw before. And shout out, by the way, to Matt Eberflus. Shout out to Shane Waldron. These guys stuck with it. We kept asking for change. We kept saying Coleman Shelton is just not getting it. We kept saying, that there has to be some kind of changes. And guess what? Without changes, they've stuck with minimal changes. Just bringing in Matt Pryor, giving him a lot more playing time. That's been the move, and that move just in and of itself has dynamically changed the way this offensive line is working. Now, is it for the better in the long term? I think so. Yes, I think we're going to look at a team that starts to coalesce and come together and start to look better than the sum of its parts. I think the Chicago Bears are doing a fantastic job thus far of getting after it, and making necessary changes, not changes that we would make. I want to say, I don't think that, I think that when we all look at it, we probably want something a little bit different. We want to, we're probably, foot on the gas looking for something a little bit bigger, but we're not getting it yet. The important part is what we did get is enough change in this offensive line to make it start to look like a team that's starting to come together. Shout out to DeAndre Swift, shout out to the offensive line and this defense. The defense has really started to surge. Now, I want to say this. I don't think at this point the defense has been suffocating at this point, but man, oh man, oh man, when Andrew Billings broke through unmolested and went straight at Andy Dalton, that's the type of look. That's the type of play that we're looking for from these Chicago Bears. DeMarcus Walker, Daryl Taylor, Javon Dexter, Montez Sweat. These guys are looking like stars on this defensive line right now. 4 sacks yesterday. Listen, I don't remember exactly. I don't remember exactly what the total number of sacks were last year, but have we surpassed it already this year? I mean, we're getting to that point right now where this team is coming after the quarterback. A lot of great blitzing schemes too. Kyler Gordon, another big game. Jaquan Brisker, another good game. Kevin Byard stepping up, and look, this defense is really starting to come together and coalesce. Kevin Byard even led all tacklers. And listen, when your safety leads your tacklers, that's usually a problem in a game. But the Bears did such a great job of controlling the line and making plays that it allowed Kevin Byard to step up and take that mantle. Look, you would have liked to have seen TJ Edwards or Tremaine Edmonds or somebody like that in an ultimate. You really want to see something like that happen, but Kevin Byers stepped up big time. With passes defended. Didn't he have an interception? I believe he had an interception and just played an all around really good game. Now look at this is the stats in the finals. Let's kind of break these down. The Bears had 424 total yards, 292 yards to for Carolina. If we can hold a team under 300 yards, I think all told, that's probably going to be a pretty good day for the Chicago Bears. 296 yards passing. It was actually because I want to say Tyson Bagent lost some yards on a couple of bad runs towards the end. Rushing yards 128 is what we're looking for. Yards per play 6.1 yards per play. We want to get up close to that 7 range with yards per play. If we do that, we're going to be absolutely golden. 24 first downs, 4 of 11 on third down efficiency. That fourth down, missing that fourth down though towards the end of the game looked like these are the little things that annoy me when it looks like a team is just kind of giving up on making that just doing just that little extra to seal the deal, if you will. The defense stepped up big time and prevented them from scoring, but it doesn't matter. I always feel bad when I see a play breakdown and then a turnover in that regard on fourth down, and then but the defense stepped up, saved us from that. But I don't like to see that. 4 sacks in the game. Each team had 4 punts. The Bears 5 penalties the entire game for 46 yards compared to 4 for 18. Look, I'll take that every single day. If we can get away with 5 penalties in a game from the Chicago Bears, nice. Panthers lost 2 fumbles and 1 interception to Kevin Byers. And then the control of the ball, 33.48 minutes ball control to 26.12 minutes. And here's the thing, when you do something like that, when you can have 33 to 35 to 37 minutes of ball control, that makes your defense that much fresher when it matters, and it allows them to step up and not be tired. This team was able to move the ball down the field. 29 total passes. I don't remember exactly how many rushes we had. I want to say it was somewhere in 34, 35. Having that allows for a lot. It allows for you to do a much better job of controlling the ball, keeping your players fresh, and pacing and using the clock and running it down. And really just a suffocating sort of win. Now, offensive individually, Caleb Williams, again, 20 of 29 for 304 yards and 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift, 21 carries for 73 yards. Caleb, 5 for 34, 6.8 yards a carry. And look, that was really, really, really good. Caleb showed an elusiveness, and he stretched the plays only to the extent that he had to be elusive, get away from people, and make plays and down the field. And he did that. He did a perfect job of that overall. This was his best game by far. Roschon Johnson, 10 carries for 25 yards. It just seemed like they were, going to Roschon just when they wanted to get that run up the middle for a yard or two. They weren't giving him a lot of field to work with, but he had 2 touchdowns. So 3 rushing touchdowns total for the Chicago Bears. For receiving, we had DJ Moore, 5 for 125 and 2 touchdowns. Cole Kmet, 3 for 57. He had 4 targets. DeAndre Swift had 2 for 47, also had 3 targets. Roma Dunze, 5 catches for 40 yards. Keenan Allen, 3 catches for 11 yards. And Gerald Everett came up big time, 2 for 22. Came up when it mattered, I should say. So individual stats looking really nice. Maybe you'd like to see 25, 30 completions per game, but look, I will take what we have right now, 20 of 29, 21, 22 of 29, something like that. That would probably be the sweet spot for this team in a worst case scenario. So shout out. Defensively, Kevin Byard was the big guy with the interception and led the team in tackles. Then you had Tremaine Edmonds with 4 and 2 assisted. TJ Edwards with 4 and 2 assisted. Kyler Gordon with 4 and 1 assisted. Jalen Johnson 4 and 1 assisted. Jalen Johnson, no passes defended. They didn't even bother. Basically, didn't even bother to throw his way. Tyreek Stevenson got in on it. Jaquan Brisker got in on 3-2, 2-2. Jack Sanborn 2-1. Andrew Billings 2-1 with a sack. Kyler Gordon, by the way, half a sack with DeMarcus Walker. Another half sack for DeMarcus Walker. Austin Booker comes in with a sack, and Gervon Dexter with a sack. By the way, are we satisfied with Gervon Dexter at this point? Has he really started to show out as a monster on this line? This is this team. Gervon Dexter really starting to look like the part. And Skip to Malou says, imagine Roquan with this defense. Anybody else play Madden 2025 mobile? I have the game on my phone, and last week Roquan Smith was one of the guys that was the cover. He was the cover guy on it. And does he look like a baby? He looked like a baby with a helmet. Like, oh my God. Roquan Smith looked like a child with a just a too big a helmet. Like, it was a funny ass picture. Tyreek Hill was even worse. But yeah, he looked a little bit awkward. And then for special teams, we actually had a pretty good run on special teams as well. DeAndre Carter had a return for 30 yards. Khalil Herbert for 28 yards. Kind of a toss up there. Josh Blackwell, one for 22 yards. So obviously, DeAndre Carter, Khalil Herbert, a little bit better. But look, if you can get that every single time, we're cooking. Punt returns, DeAndre Carter had one for 6 yards. Cairo Santos, 1 for 1 on field goal, but he did miss the extra point. And I don't know why, by the way. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense to go for 2 on that play. I missed something. I had to go walk my dog towards the end of the game, and it was sitting at 30. I think they had just scored a touchdown. It was 36-10. Why did they go for 2 at the end of the game? That made no sense at all to me, unless they were just looking for a cute score. Just I don't know. And then and Torrey Taylor had 4 punts, 44 and a half yards. They weren't giving Torrey Taylor the opportunity to get way back there to boom some kicks, but he downed 1 inside the 20. So I think overall he did a pretty good job. And yeah, to go up 3 scores. I don't know. You know what? I saw the fight starting to happen. I saw was it JC Horn? I saw JC Horn going after somebody. I want to say it was Javon, and I was walking out the door at that point. And then I came back in. It was still 36-10. I'm like, how did Cairo Santos miss another extra point? That didn't make any sense. But it was 36-10. That was 26 points. They were already up 3 scores. Like that's not right. That's not right. They were already up 3 scores. There was at best, this would be, yeah. I mean, if you want to work out, try to get some 2-point conversions to see how your short, to how your goal line offense would work. Sure, but it just seemed like you're rubbing salt in a wound at that point. Like I really didn't like that. That was to me, that was a kind of an unsportsmanlike look. If you're just trying to throw on extra points, unless you're trying to cover the over and you're a gambler, which that's a bad sign if you're in the NFL and you're doing that. Remember, Johnny Hustle, Charlie Hustle, whatever his name was, Pete Rose, wasn't a good thing. And yeah, to go up 4 scores, like to me, that just seems like nonsense. Like you want to go up 4 scores. I mean, sure, I want to pile it on to, but there's a certain level of respect. And I just don't feel like that was the right moment to do that. I want to say there was like 4 minutes left in the game. So 4 minutes left in the game, 4 scores. Look, we gave up 17 points in 4 minutes and 54 seconds. Anything is possible, but that's not likely. So, I think that was a bad look for the team overall. But that's just my opinion. It just didn't look, it just didn't set with me the right way. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Chicago Bears win, victorious 36-10 in a game that just really looked like the coming out party for this offense. The offensive line was very stable. They looked the part finally. Caleb Williams looked really, really good. Matt Pryor. And you know what? Here's the thing. I don't understand. Oh, you know what? No. The one that I saw was Bill Murray. That's what it was. Bill Murray, JC went after Bill Murray, and Bill Murray just put his hands up, like, dude, what? And then Matt Pryor stepped in and retaliated, and that's why I think it happened. So, but I don't know why I don't know why you just didn't go for the point and settle it. What were you trying to prove there? So now, we got a big game coming up pretty soon. Trevor Lawrence has not looked the part this year, so hopefully this is not the breakout game for Trevor Lawrence. We are heading to London, England for a game, and look, it's going to be early, so get ready for it. It's going to be a very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting week of practice. This team is feeling really, really good. This is the team that I told you guys I expected, but I expected this team to start this way. I didn't expect them to be this way 4 and 5 games into the season. I thought that perhaps we would be a little bit more ready for this. So, let's take a step back. Let's back up here 1 second. At this point last season, we were 1 and 4. We had just won our first game. At this point now, we are 3 and 2, gone 2 and 2 in those first couple games. That does mean that the Bears most likely trending to a 9 and 8 finish. I'm going to stick with 13 and 4. I'm going to say, look, the Bears are going to surprise a few people for a couple of weeks here. We lost 2 games that we should have won 100%. However, now you got to go out here and you got to start. Look, we need to take down the Vikings, obviously. We need to run the table in the NFC North and be the kings of the North. I was pissed off yesterday when I saw I want to say it was Fox. Somebody said that they called the Vikings the kings of the North. Get out of here. Ooh, get out of here. What do you think we should do with the picks 32 and 33? I I would look. I think we're a little bit early for looking at the draft. I'd like to see how these players develop. I'm looking forward to it. We already did one draft thing in the first week of the season. I felt like, wow, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves on that. So what I would like to see in this is going to be a little bit more focus on the defense because and not because I think that I don't think that we ignored the defense. I think we were happy with the defense and it's played out very good so far. But I think that we really need to get a few more. I think we're understaffed. I think we are grossly understaffed on the defensive side of the ball, at least from a depth standpoint. Look, I mean, Montez Sweat is a game changer. Jervon Dexter, a game changer. Look at what Andrew Billings has been doing. And by the way, DeMarcus Walker. Look, nothing. You and Darrell Taylor. These guys have stepped up big time, but I don't think that we're. I don't think that we're in that spot. I don't think that we're in. I don't think that we're ready to have the depth that we need for Super Bowls. So defense is what I think that we're going to need to work on. Defensive line, I should say. The defensive line, I think we need to improve that. And then we're going to have to go out. We're going to have to settle that guard position. So I think this is going to be one more draft where we're going to spend a little bit more time on that offense, trying to get it down the way that we want. And by the way, I do think this means the way I say, and this is a little bit off topic from that, but I do think that this probably spells the end of Keenan Allen. I don't think that he's going to be sticking around. I don't think the Bears are going to be looking to sign him to a longer term because he has not been a major contributor at all, unless you're looking at something like Mercedes Lewis. But Mercedes Lewis came in at $1 million for one final year, captain of the team, that kind of stuff. I don't think that Keenan Allen does that same thing. I think he wants some big money to close out his contract. So I would say that Keenan Allen probably on his way out. Rome Odunze probably becomes the Y receiver, and that's what we run with. So. And then Tyler Scott probably gets a little bit more playing time going forward. One thing that I will say, though, is I think that maybe having Keenan Allen here is great for somebody like a Tyler Scott. So there's gonna be some interesting stuff coming up in this draft. Curious what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the team. Big win. And who do you think the draft pick should be? Shadur Sanders? Are we going to trade up for number 1 and replace Caleb with Shadur Sanders? Let me know what you think. There's no way that's going to happen. Anyway, bear down, guys. And you know what? FGB, MV, and DL. All of them. All of them. F them all. We'll talk to you again very, very soon. See you guys tomorrow.